They sick of this unapologetically Angel podcast. Now, the numbers from the podcast shows that fans are sick of it. Once again, I can't make this up. I'm showing y'all right now. She might need to get Casanat to come on to say.
I was genuinely shocked when I checked the view count on Angel Reese's latest podcast episodes. We're talking about episodes struggling to crack even 70 views. A stunning drop for someone who was once one of the most talked about names in women's sports. One episode featuring Jada Cheeves and Des Dior barely pulled in 66 views. And no, that's not a typo. But the real surprise? The content. It was a complete pivot. An hour-long discussion not about sports, not about competition or growth, but about dating wealthy men.
Angel Reese's latest podcast decision has left her listeners disappointed, primarily due to her choice of guest. Yeah, I think a lot of people were like, who cares about these people? Honestly.
That sudden shift left Angel's core fan base, basketball lovers and young athletes, totally confused. Many were left wondering if they had clicked on the wrong show. What started as a promising platform, built on Angel's inspiring journey through the world of women's basketball, is now unrecognizable. The question on everyone's mind is, has she lost her way? Or is this just a new chapter we don't understand yet?
From hosting fellow athletes like Dejanay Carrington, Skylar Diggins-Smith, and basketball legend Lisa Leslie, to musicians like Sexy Red, Glorilla, and more, the Sky Forward received positive feedback from listeners and viewers. However, the most recent episode received mixed reviews.
The noticeable dip in viewership quickly snowballed into a full-blown disaster when Angel Reese fired back at critics, bluntly telling them to shut the fuck up. It wasn't just tone deaf. It was like pouring gasoline on an already smoldering fire. Fans who were already disappointed by the content now began questioning something deeper. Her character. What started as a content problem quickly evolved into a trust issue. And just like that, the comparisons to Caitlin Clark's disciplined and wildly successful off-season began to surface, painting an even sharper contrast. While Caitlin was making headlines for her focus, training, and strategic moves, Angel's podcast choices were becoming the punchline of a bigger conversation. Her decision to bring on Jada Cheeves and Des Dior, a duo more known for glam and gossip than sports or substance, only made matters worse. Instead of reclaiming her narrative, Angel seemed to be losing control of it.
Reese's podcast featured reality stars Jada Cheeves and Des Dior? I don't know. I don't even care. Who discussed their experiences on season 1 of BET's The Impact Atlanta, as well as their candid views on online criticism, dating, and career.
Bringing on guests more known for Instagram clout and celebrity drama than anything remotely sports-related was a hard left turn from what fans had come to expect. Angel's show had originally built its audience on thoughtful basketball content and compelling conversations with fellow athletes, raw, real, and rooted in the game. But this episode, it played more like a reality TV audition. Endless talk about dating standards, luxury lifestyles, and personal preferences, with zero mention of basketball. Fans who tuned in expecting hoop talk were instead served a full lecture on luxury dating. And it wasn't just off-brand. It felt like a bait and switch.
Quote, issue regarding relationships. As for Reese, she mentioned men's insecurities when it comes to women earning a higher income than their partners. Is that still a thing? That still bothers people? Okay. Quote, a lot of men don't also like women. My God, the grammar. What the bleep? A lot of men don't also like women that got their own. My God, folks. You read quotes from her, your IQ points just melt away.
The gritty, authentic voice that made Angel Reese stand out was suddenly replaced with something shallow and scripted. What once felt like a platform for athletes now felt like a lost opportunity. This wasn't the passionate Angel Reese fans had rallied behind during her LSU days. This was a version more focused on clout chasing than on cultivating a meaningful platform. And fans noticed. The comments poured in. I feel like she's forgetting why we started supporting her, one follower wrote. Another added, This isn't it. I came for basketball, not love and hip-hop.
Following the interview, fans expressed their dismay over the responses they gave about money and relationships, feeling it overshadowed other important topics. Quote, "They said a lot of nothing." The responses are dumb.
The damage was real, and the fans weren't shy about walking away. This podcast misstep shined a harsh spotlight on just how disconnected Angel had become from her original base. She assumed her star power alone would carry the show. But what she overlooked was the foundation of that star power: authenticity, grit, and the game that made her famous.
Another person added, quote, "This is like the one podcast where 3 kids judge food they haven't eaten, laugh out loud." The same goes for a commenter who said, "Losing brain cells listening to this podcast." I just said IQ points were literally melting away from my brain pan as we...
Angel assumed her audience would roll with the pivot, but they didn't. What they saw wasn't growth. It was a player who seemed more interested in influencer aesthetics than her roots as a trailblazing hooper. The sense of betrayal? Palpable. Fans felt like they were watching one of their favorites walk away from the very game that made her a household name. And the numbers? Brutal.
Angel, all these women out here doing phenomenal things, but you choose rappers' girlfriends to interview, just really throws me. That's a hell of a good comment.
Talking about a podcast that once had the full backing of Shaquille O'Neal's Major Podcast Network, high-quality production, A-list guests, and serious reach. But that same show now feels like a ghost of its former self. Some episodes were clocking fewer than 70 views. And the worst part? This wasn't a one-off. It was a trend. The buzz that once surrounded Angel's podcast had vanished, replaced by awkward silence and a wave of unsubscribes. In the age of viral content and short attention spans, falling off is tough. But watching your own fan base, your ride-or-die basketball supporters, completely check out? That hits different. These were the same people who used to cheer her every move.
We have to pull up her podcast, man, because y'all might think I'm lying. I am not lying. This is not clickbait at all, guys. So as we pull up the Unapologetically Angel podcast, I mean, hell, she just released the episode 10 minutes ago. It got 66 views. This one right here got 780.
Now, they were filling the comment section with one painful question. What happened to the Angel we believed in? She was the player fans once admired. The one who sparked conversations, turned heads, and redefined swagger in women's basketball.
People ain't feeling them, bruh. I mean, damn. I mean, Angel Reese haven't got over 5,000 views in over a week, dog.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark continues her unstoppable rise, dropping clips that rack up millions of views, packing out arenas, and living up to the promise of a new era in the sport. The contrast? Honestly, it's painful to watch. Angel was supposed to be right there beside her. An ambassador for women's basketball, a symbol of this bold new wave. Instead, she's stuck explaining why almost no one's tuning in anymore.
And it seemed like everything went downhill after this interview, bruh. I can't even lie. But it's looking like it's been going downhill since before this damn interview. I can't even lie to you. It's looking like Kennedy Carter might be, DJ Carrington might be her biggest.
All wasn't sudden. It was slow. A steady erosion of trust. And it all came to a head in a tone-deaf episode that may go down as a textbook example of how not to pivot your brand. Because once your audience feels unheard, once your fans feel ignored.
If you're going in terms of breaking it up, but damn, dog, it ain't looking good for Angel, bruh. Now, I just wanted to show y'all the numbers, to show y'all I wasn't clickbaiting or picking on Angel.
It doesn't take long for them to disappear. And for Angel Reese, the silence says everything. Her podcast has officially hit rock bottom. Incredibly, the show couldn't even crack 5,000 views in a full week. That's not a typo. We're talking about a high-profile WNBA star, someone with massive media attention, major brand deals, and a built-in following from her legendary college run. And yet, her own audience couldn't be bothered to hit play. That's not just a slump. That's an outright collapse. What makes it even worse is how fast it all fell apart.
She's had a lot of like rappers and these what I call D-list celebrities, which is the reality TV show. That's a D-list celebrity. They're not an actual celebrity, really and truly. It's not like they won American Idol, right?
This wasn't a slow fade or a gradual decline in interest. This was a full-blown nosedive. Her analytics looked like a blocked shot that never left the paint. 1 minute, Angel had a steady, if modest, base of loyal listeners.
A social media user left a harsh comment, wrote the least informative podcast on Earth. Yikes.
And the next? Gone. The timing wasn't subtle either. The moment she dropped that infamous episode, packed with tone-deaf commentary and reality TV fluff, the bottom fell out. Hard. The fallout was immediate and brutal. Analysts estimate her viewership plummeted by over 90%, practically overnight. That's not just bad. That's unheard of. Imagine spending months building a platform, planning content, booking guests, curating your image, only to watch it all unravel because of one misstep that hit every wrong note. Imagine spending months building your brand, aligning with a major network, producing high-quality content and promoting it everywhere, only to watch your audience abandon ship in a matter of days.
Instead, she took the X and pretty much let the fans know how she was feeling. Let's pull up the tweet right now. This is the tweet right here. Angel Reese stated, "This is my podcast. Shut the F up. You don't watch. Thank you."
And this wasn't just quiet apathy. This was loud. Fans weren't simply disinterested. They were unsubscribing, unfollowing, and publicly distancing themselves. The message? Crystal clear. They felt betrayed.
Got the comments. This one stated, "I mean, you scrapped the baby." This one too. So fans is definitely still bringing up that the baby interview, which that one never came out. She received harsh criticism from her fan base for that specific interview as well.
Even with the backing of Shaquille O'Neal's powerhouse podcast network, top-tier editing, premium production, and big-name resources, it still wasn't enough to save the show. Because here's the truth. No amount of polish can fix a creator's disconnect from their core audience. And that's where this all went wrong. Angel Reese misunderstood what her fans truly wanted. The numbers don't just speak, they scream. Her audience wasn't asking for pop culture gossip, glamorized dating debates, or celebrity guests who had nothing meaningful to say. They wanted basketball. They wanted raw, behind-the-scenes insight. They wanted the real Angel Reese, the fierce competitor who earned their respect on the court. What they got instead felt like a complete betrayal of that identity.
Can she get good guests on her podcast? That's another thing. I mean, a lot of these WNBA players have come on there, but I mean, you got to wonder how many of them are actually really in demand, right?
And when her fans voiced their disappointment, when they gave her a chance to reconnect, Angel didn't listen. She lit the match herself. She dropped a grenade on her own platform. When viewers expressed frustration, Angel didn't engage, explain, or adjust. Nope. She snapped back on Twitter with a now infamous, "Shut the F up." Those 4 words turned an already bad look into a full-blown PR meltdown. Think about it. She had every opportunity to pivot gracefully. She could have acknowledged the feedback, maybe said she was trying something new, and promised more basketball-focused content. It would have been simple damage control. But instead, she poured gasoline on the fire. Her defiant tweet came just hours before the media started running stories about her podcast's dismal numbers, cementing one of the biggest self-inflicted implosions we've seen in women's sports media. Suddenly, her social media platforms became war zones. Longtime supporters were openly questioning her priorities and attitude. One fan dropped the mic with this line, "We are the shareholders of your content. If you can't take the heat, get off the mic." That wasn't trolling. That was heartbreak from a community that once had her back. As expected, the Caitlin Clark comparisons started flooding in. Fans quickly pointed out that Clark, who hasn't even launched a podcast, seems to understand audience connection better than Angel. Comments flooded in, with many suggesting that if Clark ever decided to start a podcast, it would immediately outperform Angel's. The reason? Clark knows how to speak to her audience without alienating. them. But things only got worse. Fans began offering real suggestions, begging Angel to interview powerful women in business, coaching, sports, or leadership. Instead, they were met with Instagram influencers and TikTok talking points. One fan hit the nail on the head. With all the amazing women out there, you chose to spotlight rapper girlfriends? Ouch. Behind the scenes, whispers began to circulate.
I don't understand. What is the value of bringing rappers' girlfriends on to have a conversation with them? I mean, that one person's right. Why would you not want to platform people that have something meaningful to talk about? This person said, why not platform other successful women that's actually done some things? Not a bad question.
People in the content space started questioning whether Angel still had any real intention of continuing her basketball career, or if she was more focused on influencer clout. One content creator summed it up perfectly. She ain't locked in on hoops. She's chasing red carpet flashes and viral moments. But what makes it all worse is how preventable it was. A single meeting with a PR consultant would have been enough to advise her to thank her fans, acknowledge their feedback, explain her decision to try something new, and pivot her content accordingly. It would have been a simple, strategic move that could have helped her regain some trust. But instead, she chose to burn the bridge with a blowtorch. In that one moment, she escalated the situation. What could have been a simple misstep turned into a full-blown PR disaster. It wasn't just about the content anymore. It was about her response. Ignoring the concerns of her audience and reacting defensively made it clear that her priorities weren't aligned with the people who had supported her. Fans weren't looking for luxury dating tips or influencer chatter. They were there because they believed in the athlete they saw on the court. The true damage here isn't just to her podcast's performance, it's to her entire brand. When athletes lose trust with their audience, the consequences go far beyond a drop in numbers.
You two, go subscribe at your own damn peril at this point. I mean, that's saying something when, look, you gotta go seek out her podcast on an app, then subscribe to it, decide you want to listen to it, and then you've made it this far and you're like, nah, I'm tapping out of this horse shit. It's terrible.
It impacts sponsorships, it affects public perception, and it changes how brands, media, and fans engage with them. What was once a platform built on her hard-earned reputation is now at risk of crumbling under the weight of miscommunication and misaligned priorities. This isn't just a lesson in content creation, it's a lesson in maintaining a relationship with your audience. The loyalty of fans is fragile, and once it's lost, it takes far more than just a viral moment or a flashy guest to win it back. And for Angel, this wasn't just a slip-up. It's a pivotal moment that could define the future of her career. Beyond view counts, brands take notice. Sponsors hesitate. Teammates notice when fans start booing instead of cheering. It's a domino effect that spreads throughout an athlete's entire career. What starts as a single misstep can quickly escalate, impacting not only their personal brand but their relationships with major sponsors, networks, and even their own teammates. Fans aren't just numbers. They are the lifeblood of an athlete's success. When the fan base turns, everything else follows. This entire saga has become a cautionary tale, a masterclass in how not to manage your platform. It's a clear example of how one miscalculated move can unravel months, even years, of carefully cultivated success. The downfall wasn't just about a single podcast episode or a controversial guest list. It's a failure to understand what got her to the top in the first place: trust. And let's not forget, this wasn't a rookie mistake from someone flying solo. This was a professionally backed media product, launched by a major name under the umbrella of Shaquille O'Neal's media empire. She had the resources, the backing, the platform, and the audience. Yet somehow, it all fell apart. How? Because Angel lost sight of one simple truth: the people who made her a star in the first place. When sponsors and media partners start pulling back, when fans turn on you, it doesn't just impact the numbers, it impacts the foundation of everything you've built. Relationships that took years to establish can crumble in a matter of hours. And once trust is eroded, rebuilding it can take even longer. Angel's mistake wasn't just about a podcast episode. It was about losing touch with the very people who got her to the top. It was about taking a detour into a world that didn't align with the brand she had spent so long constructing. Her audience didn't sign up for gossip, reality TV talk, and influencer culture. They supported her for her authenticity and for her love of the game, traits that were once the core of her identity. When that authenticity was traded for viral moments and surface-level trends, the fans began to feel betrayed. And when that connection fades, so does everything else. The numbers, the deals, the trust, all of it vanishes. Sponsors begin questioning their investments. They start to pull back, seeking athletes who understand the power of their platform and the responsibility that comes with it. Teammates begin to notice the shift.
Is the shtick for Angel Reese, is it starting to wear thin? Is the faucet of Angel Reese's celebrity starting to slowly slow down? Question mark? You got
the once unwavering support they offered turns into doubt. And suddenly, a career that was on the rise finds itself on shaky ground, unable to regain its footing. Now the clock is ticking. Every moment spent ignoring the damage only deepens the wound. What could have been a temporary setback has turned into a potential career-altering mistake. The key takeaway here? If you lose the people who believed in you the most, your fans, you risk losing it all. Brands are already taking a second look. The question now is, will they want to align themselves with someone who alienates her core audience? Will they invest in a face that publicly insults her own supporters when faced with criticism? These aren't easy questions, and Angel may not like the answers. Every athlete building a personal brand should be watching this closely. Because creating a lasting brand isn't just about popularity. It's about authenticity. It's about respect. And most importantly, it's about listening. Here's the real lesson. When fans feel heard, they'll support you for life. But when they feel ignored or disrespected, they'll walk away just as quickly as they came. Angel Reese had the platform. She had the production value. She had the presence. But what she lost was the connection. And in today's digital age, that's the one thing you absolutely cannot fake. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss an update. Tap the video on screen now, and we'll see you in the next one.